The year is 2026 and I have a question for you guys. Do you actually know how much money many of you have wired to Microsoft over the last 5 years? Take a quick look at your bank statements. If you've done that, you know in February we had the concurrency adjustment and the big structural reform is coming on July 1st. That means in plain English, prices are rising again at Microsoft. For a simple subscription, just to write letters and make spreadsheets, many of us are now paying over 130 euros a year. And if you really want to use the new AI features like Copilot without limits, you are quickly looking at over 200 euros every single year. And that's for software that doesn't even belong to you. The moment you stop paying, the fun is over. I'm telling you today, enough is enough. You don't need this anymore. In this video, I'll show you the complete exit strategy. We'll look at why the free challenger LibreOffice in the new version 26.2 is actually better than ever before. We'll explain the tiresome topic of compatibility. Can I still open those boss level Word files? And I'll show you a tool that puts Excel in the shade forever. Welcome to the independence, at least for your entire Office suite, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Before we start, we actually need to clear up a misunderstanding right away. When I say free Office, many of you think of, kind of open Office. Do me a favor, delete the name Open Office from your memory. I would actually recommend you uninstall it. OpenOffice is basically dead. It hasn't been properly maintained for years and actually poses an increasing security risk to your computer. So the legitimate successor, the project where all the energy is going now, is called LibreOffice. It's based on OpenOffice code, but the thing is, OpenOffice actually stopped development relatively early in the 2010s. Since then, not much has happened there, and the large community moved to LibreOffice. So for the broad masses, and for me, I recommend erase OpenOffice from your mind. The new standard is LibreOffice. I haven't touched OpenOffice in over 10 years. So let's get to the LibreOffice download briefly. It's super simple. I'm on the LibreOffice website now. You can select download here, then download LibreOffice and simply choose your version or operating system. Most of you will probably have Windows. You can download the installer there. It probably already detects Windows and you can just install the newest version directly. If you have a Mac, either Intel or the new Apple Silicon, you can download LibreOffice for that too. And for the most of you on Linux, you actually already have LibreOffice pre-installed. In my case here on Linux Mint, it is already there. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we have it. I recommend just using the version that comes pre-installed rather than forcing the newest one because it's best integrated in the system in that way. And what you don't see here is any payment requests or sites. This is LibreOffice actually costs $0. There are no subscriptions, no registration. You don't have to sign up for a newsletter and there's no cloud compulsion or online only requirement. It's just like OpenOffice used to be, let's say, but it has developed significantly further over the last 15 years. And also let's come to speed. This will make many Calc and Excel friends happy. LibreOffice used to be, let's say, leisurely with huge tables. The new version actually runs. Opening large files is supposed to be much faster now. And the interfaces, if you don't have to use the old LibreOffice menus, if you don't want, you can switch to the so-called notebook bar. So let me open LibreOffice Writer. Here we have it. That's the equivalent to Word. This is how LibreOffice looks by default. But if you want those tabs up top like you have in Word, you can use that in LibreOffice now too. Just go to View, then User Interface. And yeah, here we see that tabbed stuff here. I choose it to tabbed and then select apply all. And just like that, the structure is super similar to the Microsoft Office products. And yeah, you have to give it to Microsoft. This tab view or ribbon view is really cool. All the most important features are sorted right up top. But if you want, you can still use the pure old school menu structure in LibreOffice. We can activate it here in the menu bar. Sometimes that's not bad either, especially if you are following tutorials online. So much for the technical stuff. Now to the real question. Can LibreOffice actually keep up in the present day for term papers, letters, or even whole books? Write as a workhorse. It forces you a little bit more to work cleanly with styles instead of just marking everything in bold. You have these styles there, here in the menu. Or what I find mega cool is if we go to this arrow on the right side and then activate this style menu here, we have all styles, like for example, different headings or other styles directly available. And for example, if I now type in subscribe to Linux Art, I can just select this. We don't want to change the font size with this one or with this one and make it bold. We don't want to do this. We want to apply a certain style. For example, I select the title style here with a double click, and or a heading 1 style, heading 2 style. I guess you get the thing. I highly can recommend just using those styles. And if you want to adjust the style, you can very easily do that by right clicking the style and then edit style. And then we can go to font, for example, and there you can change your font and the size as you want it. For example, I'm going with mono now, just to have a difference. Then apply and then okay. And then, yeah, all titles in the whole document are in the mono font right now. And that's really, really powerful. Functionally, LibreOffice absolutely does not need to hide behind Word. It has pretty much the exact same functions, even referencing, generating tables. You can do that with one click here too. Very easy. Things like bibliographies or literature management, many of you know Zotero. There's an add-on for LibreOffice. I wrote and managed all my scientific papers with it. So super tool, works really well with LibreOffice. And of course, this is free too. But now let's come to another topic about LibreOffice. I guess many of you just don't use Writer. Many of you also use Calc or Excel. So let's just open LibreOffice Calc. Many people are afraid, will my formulas that I typed into Excel work in LibreOffice? All clear. The lookup, pivot tables, charts, and so on, it's actually all there. LibreOffice Calc is sometimes a bit stricter than Excel regarding input, to be honest. It forgives fewer syntax errors. Is that bad? Yeah, actually no, it ensures cleaner data in the end. So in my eyes, that's completely okay. And if auto formatting annoys you, like when you type, for example, a number with zeros in front of it, removes them automatically. That's annoying for sure, but you can simply change it by selecting the cells, for example, those ones, going to the data format. We see it here, number format type it is called, and we switch it to text. And now I can type in some numbers with some preceding zeros and it just works out. Very nice. Just a small tip on the side. Otherwise, Calc doesn't need to hide either. I have a complete crash course just for LibreOffice linked at the end of the video. If you want to dive deeper, definitely have a look to that. But now let's come to another big question many of you are asking. How is the file compatibility? The final boss of LibreOffice. Can I open my ultra complex docx file with 3D effects and wild text boxes in LibreOffice? I'll be honest with you, it depends. Sometimes it can look shifted in LibreOffice. That's actually because Microsoft doesn't stick to open standards. Microsoft is the top dog, but other Office suites are challenging that spot. And LibreOffice 26.2 has gotten better at supporting Microsoft formats. So you can definitely open the documents as I said, but as I said, text might shift occasionally. So, however, there is other software besides LibreOffice that has focused specifically on this word Microsoft compatibility. And one of them, OnlyOffice. It's also free and open source. The trick is it uses technically the same engine as a web browser. This means documents look almost 100% identical to how they do in Microsoft Word. It's the perfect second layer, in my opinion, for the difficult cases. If only Office isn't enough, there is another tool. This is called SoftMaker FreeOffice. By the way, this is not sponsored. They have made it their mission to be a good direct alternative to Microsoft apps. It looks very similar to Office and supports Microsoft Documents significantly better. So for people switching maybe to Linux or somewhere else who absolutely need to access very specific Word documents, they often grab SoftMaker or only Office, and all of this software runs almost everywhere, so on Windows, Mac OS and Linux, and even sometimes Android or iOS. But generally, if you have the choice, I would always recommend LibreOffice. It is simply the best free Office suite out there and has the most potential in my view. So definitely keep an eye on that. And I highly recommend you just a very simple installation, a word for the Excel pros among you. If you have tables that are so big you're afraid to open them, or if you use VBA macros to manage your entire warehouse inventory, stop it, honestly. Excel is not a database. Yeah, people used to do that. There was a time when we packed everything into Excel sheets, but Microsoft exploits this. The more specific Excel-only function you use, the harder it is to leave the Microsoft subscription. I recommend looking for alternatives as early as possible to manage things like inventory. There are cool tools, and one of the coolest, which I personally use sometimes, is NoCoDB. You can build really good tables, link them, and some people even build entire CRM systems in it. It looks like a spreadsheet, but you can upload images, create links, and let the whole team work on it simultaneously without conflicts. Version conflicts are history. NoCoDB is a really cool modern solution and it's completely open source. However, attention, it's a server application. So you can't just download it as a simple program like Word. But regarding all this cloud stuff, we'll look at that in one of the next videos on this channel. So leave a subscription if you want to see that, and if you are already on Linux. There are actually very easy NoCoDB guides out there. I link one of them into the video description. So you see, there's really no reason to stay on the gilded cage anymore. And if any of you want to go a step further and get rid of OneDrive and Teams, check out Library Workspace. That's Nextcloud plus Collaborate Online plus communication apps like Matrix, or you can even host NoCoDB on that. And if you want, you can host it on your own server, but that is material for another video. I haven't used Microsoft product for years, aside from GitHub to be honest, and I don't miss them at all. So my final advice, save 200 euros in subscription fees, go eat some good food instead, or invest in new hardware. The link to all the programs I mentioned are in the video description. I recommend you just check them out, download them. You can't do anything wrong, especially with LibreOffice. You don't have to pay anything and you won't find any annoying subscription traps with LibreOffice. One of the best free and open communities I've ever seen. So my whole recommendation. And if you want to learn LibreOffice Writer or Calc more precisely, I'm packing you some videos also in the video description. It doesn't matter if you are on Windows, Linux or Mac. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because every week we are releasing new stuff about Linux and open source. So I would love to see you in one of the next videos. And until then, have a good one. Bye.